At Techspark High in Cape Town, 17-year-old Zola preferred to hide behind her hoodie and her laptop. While others buzzed in the halls with loud conversations and TikTok dances, Zola's world pulsed to the rhythm of code and logic. Her reputation as a coding prodigy was known but never flaunted. She preferred silence to spotlight. Most of her classmates only knew her as the girl who hacked the school's timetable system to get longer lunch breaks, quietly and anonymously, of course. Things changed the day Neo, the flamboyant graffiti artist with electric green braids and a sketchpad always under his arm, sauntered into her computer science class. He was only there for the contest announcement, a national app development challenge themed around digital well-being for teens. As the teacher explained the competition, Neo scanned the room and landed on Zola. "You," he said, pointing with a grin. "We're gonna win this." Zola blinked, unsure what a guy who painted on walls wanted with her. Zola had never worked with anyone before. She preferred solitude, structure, and lines of clean, efficient code. Neo, on the other hand, thrived in messiness. His ideas came in bursts, his thoughts tangled in metaphors and color palettes. Their first brainstorming session at the school library was chaos. Neo talked in abstract swirls, while Zola scribbled logic flowcharts in a notebook. "You can't just make an app feel safe," she said. "It has to be functional." He countered, "If it doesn't feel safe, no one will use it." They argued, debated, and clashed, until something sparked. Between her algorithms and his empathy-driven designs, the outline of a concept emerged: an anonymous, AI-powered journaling and mood-tracking app for teens, with calming visuals and gamified progress. Neo called it Soulspace. Zola called it promising. Late nights became the norm. Zola coded in the quiet hours when the rest of the world slept, often finding sketches Neo left at her doorstep. Logo ideas, mood boards, UI inspirations. In class they hardly spoke unless it was about the app. But at their favorite spot, an abandoned rooftop overlooking Table Mountain, their worlds collided. Zola taught Neo basic Python syntax, while he explained the psychology behind color gradients and typefaces. "You think in code," he told her, "but your heart's just as wired as mine." Still, Zola kept her guard up. Every time Neo leaned in too close or complimented her debugging skills with a lopsided smile, she felt her heart glitch. She couldn't risk feelings. Emotions were unpredictable like spaghetti code. But Neo wasn't just another variable. He was becoming her constant. As the app began to take form, their classmates took notice. The school buzzed about Zola and Neo, the odd pair working magic. Their prototype earned rave feedback from teachers and even a repost from a local influencer after Neo shared a sneak peek on Instagram. Their download count passed 1,000 within a week of the beta release. But Zola started feeling the pressure. Every bug in the system felt personal. She refused to release the update Neo was proud of because she hadn't finished testing all the edge cases. "You don't get it," she snapped during one argument. "If we crash now, that's it. It's not about vibes, it's about perfection." Neo paused, then said softly, "It's also about helping people, Zola. And maybe helping each other." The semi-final pitch was only 2 weeks away. The judges would evaluate usability, innovation, and impact. Neo suggested they record real testimonials from students using Soulspace. He brought in friends who struggled with anxiety, and Zola watched quietly as they poured their hearts out to her app. One girl cried, saying it was the first time she felt heard. That night, Zola stayed up until 3 a.m. refining the emotion recognition algorithm. She realized Soulspace wasn't just code, it was comfort, a safe haven for kids like her who struggled to express what weighed on their minds. She typed a message in the app's backend: "You're not alone." She didn't tell Neo, but she hoped he'd find it. Their semi-final presentation was at a local tech incubator. Zola wore her best hoodie, while Neo showed up in a tailored blazer splashed with spray-painted constellations. Their pitch was electric. Zola explained the AI, Neo painted the emotional resonance. The room burst into applause. One judge, a rep from a major startup accelerator, pulled them aside afterward. "This could go national," he said. "With the right push." Outside, Neo hooped and hugged Zola so tightly she forgot to breathe. "We did it," he yelled. Zola nodded, heart pounding not just from excitement, but from how right it felt being in his arms, if only for a second. As they prepared for the finals, fame crept in like a silent virus. A well-known tech blog featured them as the future of teen wellness. Neo's art following exploded. Brands sent emails offering sponsorship. Zola got invited to speak at a coding panel, but declined. The attention overwhelmed her. Comments online dissected her appearance, questioned her abilities, and called her a sidekick to the real genius, Neo. Neo tried to defend her, but Zola grew distant. She missed their quiet rooftop sessions, the brainstorming marathons, the late-night messages. Soulspace was trending, but her peace of mind was crashing. Zola pulled away from everything. She stopped replying to Neo's texts. At school, she hid in the robotics lab, avoiding interviews and group chats. Neo, on the other hand, was swept into the limelight, invited to speak on podcasts, host digital art workshops, and collaborate with influencers. The app updates stalled. Bugs piled up. Reviews dropped. Neo finally confronted her after class. "I can't keep building this without you," he said. "I don't want to." Zola shook her head. "You don't need me. You're the face. I'm just the back end." Neo looked at her, hurt. "You're the heart, Zola. Don't you see?" Zola spent the weekend offline in silence. She stared at the lines of code she'd once written with love, now blurred by fear. When her younger sister said, "I used your app today. It helped me," Zola finally cried. Not out of sadness but clarity. Her creation mattered. Her voice mattered. Fame was noisy, but intention was quiet and powerful. She messaged Neo, "Let's finish this together." "I'm sorry." He replied in under a minute, "Always." Back in sync, they prepared a major app update before the finals, adding a daily check-in tree that grows as users log their feelings. They called it the Soul Tree. Zola created a calming ripple animation whenever someone marked a hard day. Neo designed blossoms that bloomed when users celebrated small wins. It was elegant, beautiful, and deeply human. As they worked side by side again, laughter returned. The tension melted. At one point, their hands brushed while reaching for the same sketchpad. Neither pulled away. The national finals took place in Johannesburg. Zola and Neo stood backstage, nerves fraying. Zola clutched a USB drive like it was sacred. Neo whispered, "No matter what happens, we built something real." She nodded, voice shaking. "And we built it together." Their presentation was flawless. The audience connected instantly with the live demo, the story, the data. Neo shared how his own mental health journey inspired the app. Zola followed with a powerful line, "Code is language. Empathy is logic. Soulspace speaks both." They won. First place. National champions. Photos were taken. Confetti flew. Investors came knocking. Reporters swarmed. Neo looked radiant under the lights, but he kept glancing at Zola. She stood at the edge of the stage, overwhelmed but glowing. When he reached for her hand and raised it with his, the crowd roared louder. Zola smiled, a real one. For once, she wasn't just surviving the noise. She was part of the music. With the prize money, they launched Soulspace officially, partnering with schools and wellness organizations. Neo handled branding and marketing. Zola led the dev team. The app reached 100,000 users within a month. Tech conferences invited them. A VC firm offered a major investment. But Zola noticed something. She and Neo were rarely alone anymore. Meetings replaced mountaintop hangouts. Their laughter got scheduled. The space between them grew, not from arguments but from success. One rainy evening, Zola returned to the rooftop. She found Neo already there, sketchbook in hand. They sat quietly, watching the clouds drip over Table Mountain. "Do you miss us?" she asked. He looked at her, eyes softer than she'd ever seen. "Every day," he said. She reached into her bag and handed him a small device. "A mood tracker," she said. "For you. You've been giving me color. I wanted to give you clarity." Neo leaned in and kissed her, gently, like a promise finally spoken. Months later, Soulspace became a global sensation. Mental health advocates praised it. A documentary was made. But Zola and Neo stayed grounded. They still coded. Still sketched. Still sat on rooftops, away from the noise. Their love wasn't loud, but it was layered, like code beneath the surface, holding everything up. And as they continued to build apps that healed, they also built a world where they both felt seen. Together they had found something worth more than fame, each other.